what their need was last year.
Hey, let me just real quick. Yeah, but let me piggyback on that. What's your name? Keith. Okay, hang on a second, you guys. Keith's bringing up a good point, because the fact is that we don't projection lend. However, let's take the same case, and this company for the last 3 years did 4.8 million, 5 million, 5.1 million. Projection for 98 is 9.6 million. Okay. Now, getting back to your question, no. As an SCO, I'm probably going to have a hard time going with the fact that this company has been relatively flat 3 years in a row, and all of a sudden their sales are going to nearly double, darn near double. Okay, I'd have a hard time with that. But this company is 30%, 35%, 35% growth, 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 and this 9.6 million is simply, the trend is very consistent. Okay, so given the historic numbers, I would feel comfortable thinking, okay, I think that's real. And the beauty, and the other thing is, the beauty about the AR line is they can't borrow it if they don't produce.
The reality is, I think somebody else already got that deal.
Oh, absolutely.
AR lines considered fully secured. Sorry, your name?
Yeah.
Tim?
That's the question I have is, if we are determining what their need is based on the interim or projection, and they can't qualify on that amount based on score, so we lower what they qualify on, we're giving them enough to pay. I don't know if that's going to give you sort of a good payment for that as well. You know, where other lenders would get
Steve, help you out.
we're using a projection.
Okay. Well, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, and that's a good point. But we do know that $800,000 is enough, based on these numbers, to turn his payables in 65 days and hopefully get his vendor's office back. Still allow him to take advantage of some discounts, not nearly as much as he needs to take advantage of all the discounts. Okay. But what we run into with this case is we need to be comfortable with debt service coverage, collateral support. We need to be comfortable with projections. The good news is this company's been growing. Their projections isn't any greater growth than what they've experienced consistently. But if you were to try and qualify them for $1.5 million, I think there was somebody had said two. That was Stacy, right? 2 million.
Actually, no,
Or was it?
$1 million, $1,130,000.
Oh, is that it? No, there's $1,250,000 over there. I thought someone had put 2 million. So $1,250,000. Okay. Maybe maybe when you, because the $1,088,000 is what the AR base supports. So maybe who recommended the $1,250,000? It's okay to admit it, because that's not. Was there anybody in here that recommended $1,250,000? Was Wayne? Okay. Okay.
Not that $1,250,000.
Okay. So if the $1,250,000, how would you have to structure it since the ARs don't support it? What type of line? AR inventory line, Rick? Okay. And you could do that. The problem again is, how do you debt service the $1,250,000? Okay. So again, this case, there really are no right or wrong answers. In my opinion, if you came up with anywhere from $700,000 to $1 million, that's probably a fair stab at it. I mean, but again, you're going to have problems. The higher your line is, you're not going to have historical debt service coverage. And the higher your line is, the tighter your collateral support is.
You better go to pricing, Dave.
They-
Sell them on like a 750 ARL, and run through the feasibility study and everything else, or even AR inventory. But at 6 months, if he does grow, he can submit to us that he's using the same vendor. They just increase their size, so we can use them up that much easier.
I think that's a valid approach.
Yeah.
And this guy came in asking you for 140. So you're going to have a lot to sell him. You're going to be able to show him how you can get his AP turns down. You're going to show him how he can take some discounts. The cost of borrowing is a lot less than the cost of missing out on his discounts. So you're going to be able to go in with a great value proposition. You're going to be able to come in. You're going to very easily get him through the next year. And you're going to be able to think then, okay, can I begin to incorporate these discounts? Am I beginning to get debt service coverage from these discounts now that I've freed up some of his capital?
One of the things that's important to think about in this case that we haven't really talked about at this point, what does it tell you about the business owner when he came in and asked you for 140? Financially not very sophisticated. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, is it Yvette? Okay. Financial control. Okay. Knowing your customer, because the very first thing that's going to tell me when this customer comes in for 140 is this person's not very financially astute. Okay? And that's important, especially when we're talking about maybe, perhaps, adding back discounts to be taken as part of your funds flow. That tells me right there this person may not be very good financially. That's right, because he was short on cash at that moment. Okay? Let's talk.
Quickly get
What
into
time do we run out?
pricing. 6, you got 5 minutes to
Okay,
go through
pricing, guys. How do you want to price this? We've told you that your cost of funds is what? 5.5%? Okay. Is this a Tier 4 credit? Tier 3? Tier 2 what? Okay. Let's just say, for the sake of this case, does everybody have their thing handy, their pricing worksheet? Let's just say, for the sake of argument, it's prime plus 2, so that's 10%. Your cost of funds was how much? 5.5, so your net's 4.5, okay? The fee yield, 1% fee divided by the term, and we told you that the average life of the ARL would be 3 years. So you get 33 basis points out of that, so your adjusted yield's 4.83, correct? Acquisition costs, we told you 2% divided by the term, so you got 0.66. Everybody got that? Servicing cost is how much on an ARL? Okay, we told you 0.5. Your risk cost on an ARL? 100 basis points. So what was your profit before taxes? Everybody get 267 basis points? Everybody got that? Subtract out your taxes. So you got 112 basis points in taxes. So your ROA was what? 155 basis points. Okay, divided by your equity allocation of 744 and an ROE of 21. Basically 21%. Lynn, what are we shooting for?
We're shooting for 15.
Okay, hang on. 15 is what we're shooting for, but
When we were talking about NIAC, when we were putting this day together, we all sat through the presentation and we just learned that ROE doesn't matter, right? But ROE is a good number that you can calculate and you can do it quickly. And we've got a disc now that we can work on NIAC. But I asked Matthew Rafelson, okay, if I'm looking at a target when I'm doing these worksheets, one off, what's a good target to think about? And what he told me was 20%. You won't walk away from too much, but you'll generate a NIAC that makes sense.
And 20% is going to offset those deals where you get 14 or the 13 perhaps or whatever. Okay? What's that? Yeah. Right. That's right. Okay, so does everybody feel, everybody came up with somewhere between 750 and roughly $1 million, maybe $1.2 million? Okay.
Now, in the course of the next month, your SEO will actually meet with each of you guys and we'll walk through with you how to do the calculation if you were going to start thinking about this discount add back. We do have a case available, and we didn't have enough time to cover it today. But what we've worked out is the SEO is going to sit down with all you guys and talk about, so you can begin to think about how could I add some value, how could I begin to count this income, and how could I end up coming up with a structure like that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I think we're right on time.
See, in the advanced class, they're teaching the discounts. Oh yeah, they're going all the way down there.
Okay.